Disclaimer. The information in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. I am not a doctor, and peptides such as Adipotide are research compounds. They are not approved for human use by the FDA. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider before considering any treatment or supplement. Today we are going to take a deep dive into Adipotide, a unique peptide that has drawn attention in the research world for its potential role in weight loss and fat reduction. Adipotide, also known as proapoptotic peptide or FTPP, was originally studied for its unusual ability to target blood vessels that feed fat cells. Unlike traditional weight management compounds that focus on metabolism, appetite, or nutrient absorption, Adipotide's mechanism is more direct. It seeks out and binds to specific receptors on blood vessels that nourish white adipose tissue. Once it binds, it can trigger a process that cuts off blood supply to fat cells, leading those fat cells to shrink and die. Researchers became interested in Adipotide because this targeted mechanism is different from most drugs or peptides in development. The approach is similar to strategies used in cancer therapy, where compounds block blood vessels feeding tumors. By adapting this concept to fat tissue, Adipotide presented a new idea: attack the fat cell's lifeline rather than just suppress hunger or increase calorie burn. Animal studies, particularly those involving primates, have shown notable weight loss effects. In some of these studies, obese rhesus monkeys given Adipotide lost significant amounts of body weight in a relatively short time. Importantly, much of this loss came from body fat rather than muscle tissue. That finding gave researchers hope that Adipotide might one day become a valuable treatment for obesity, metabolic disorders, or related conditions such as type 2 diabetes. However, while the results were promising, there were also concerns. Side effects observed in research included kidney-related issues. Some animals developed dehydration and changes in kidney function. Because of this, researchers realized that while Adipotide showed clear effectiveness at reducing body fat, its safety profile would need much more investigation before any consideration of human trials on a large scale. What makes Adipotide so fascinating is the precision of its design. It is a conjugated peptide, meaning it combines two functional parts. One part acts as a homing signal, guiding the compound directly to blood vessels feeding white fat. The other part delivers the apoptotic signal, essentially telling those cells to shut down. This targeted delivery system is what sets Adipotide apart from more generalized weight loss agents. It doesn't rely on willpower, diet changes, or energy expenditure. Instead, it acts locally, at the tissue level. Another layer of interest is that Adipotide may affect different fat depots unevenly. Some studies suggested that abdominal fat, which is more metabolically harmful, may respond more strongly than subcutaneous fat. If confirmed, that could make Adipotide particularly useful for addressing visceral fat, which is linked to cardiovascular disease and insulin resistance. Despite these potential benefits, it is critical to emphasize that Adipotide is still considered an experimental compound. No regulatory agencies have approved it for human use. There are no standardized dosing guidelines, and safety data is incomplete. This means that while it is widely discussed in scientific and wellness communities, its use outside controlled research is risky. The future of Adipotide depends on whether researchers can refine its delivery, minimize its side effects, and demonstrate long-term safety. It's possible that modifications of the molecule or combination therapies could overcome some of the current barriers. Alternatively, the lessons learned from Adipotide may guide the design of next-generation fat-targeting peptides. From a broader perspective, Adipotide highlights a shift in the way science approaches obesity. Instead of only focusing on behavior or metabolism, researchers are exploring structural and cellular-level strategies. Targeting blood supply, modulating stem cells, or even reprogramming fat tissue itself are all active areas of research. Adipotide is one of the bold early steps in this new direction. As always, when it comes to peptides, curiosity must be balanced with caution. The excitement of innovation must be paired with careful attention to safety, regulation, and ethics. Research is ongoing, but for now, Adipotide remains a compound of interest, not a therapy available for everyday use. Disclaimer: this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Adipotide is not approved for human use. Consult a qualified healthcare professional before considering any type of treatment, supplement, or experimental compound. Thanks for listening. Keep learning and stay curious.